Sir, I need you to turn off your computer. I need you to turn off your laptop, sir. It interferes with our navigational systems.
You know, when you guys say that, it sounds pretty ridiculous to most people, right?
Sir?
Mr. Vigo, a message was just passed up to the cockpit for you. I'm not sure I've got it right. POTUS in a bicycle accident?
You got it right.
You can't use your phone until we land, sir.
We're flying in a Lockheed Eagle Series L-1011.
Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This is ONN.
I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network. 2 people are dead and a third injured after a shooting in the Dayton suburb of Riverside early last night. Channel 7 in Dayton reports there's a person of interest in the case, but no arrests have been made. The snowstorm that hit a good chunk of Ohio Sunday into yesterday was impressive. The National Weather Service says Cleveland got a foot of snow, suburbs to the east got at least 15 inches, and Ashtabula reported 2 feet. The Akron area got about a foot. Many other areas from Zanesville and Athens to Marietta and Steubenville received at least 7 inches, with some spots up to nearly a foot. Hospitalizations related to COVID-19 have dropped significantly, according to the state health department's online dashboard. Yesterday, the state reported 6,072 patients hospitalized with COVID. That's down 675 over the past week. John Palmer is a spokesman for the Ohio Hospital Association, says some places are still dealing with high patient numbers and or staffing issues.
We're going to be continuing to look at things from a space standpoint, a staffing availability, where facilities can take patients and not take patients, so any transfers that need to occur.
The number of patients in intensive care in Ohio with COVID are not dropping as fast. There are more than 1,100 of them statewide. That's down about 100 over the last week. For more state news, go to ONNradio.com. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly. Here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
The new year is here, and so are the new Toyotas. So visit your dealer and reserve yours today. Like the all-new Tundra, redesigned from the ground up and engineered for uncompromising power. Or explore the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Visit your Toyota dealer today or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, offers end January 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
When I started at Mountain View Solar, I was placed on the installation crew, and I was very green to anything construction related.
Henry Gill Newton from Berkeley Springs.
Within about a year, I was able to run a crew and go out to jobs. I think it's time that we start working towards creating new infrastructure that can renew itself within seconds and maintain itself through years and years to come.
Paid for by Environmental Defense Fund.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754. Schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
The best in live and local talk returns momentarily on The Watchdog.
Hello, everyone, from The Watchdog. I'm the storm tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Tuesday. Let's call it partly sunny skies, a daytime high of 32 degrees, with an overnight low of 26 under partly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy with a few rain showers, maybe even a few wet snowflakes mixed in for your Wednesday, with a high near 41. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From The Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
You know what I need?
Huh? Oh, what day it is?
This is Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Let me hear your voice.
Ah, this voice of yours is really something.
I really love the sound of your voice.
Your voice is really annoying.
God, your voice is annoying.
Which one is it?
So which is it?
Well, to each his own. Is this the show?
That's usually what wakes me up.
You know what else wakes you up in the morning?
What is it? It's showtime.
Live from the Robinson Auto Group studios, this is the Valley's longest-running morning show, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe from WKKX and WVLY.
Man, I am getting some nasty emails here, or texts, I guess I should say. I'll share some of them with you coming up a little bit later on this morning. Some of you are not happy with me at all today, calling me all kinds of nasty names. Ooh. But you can text me, 304-214-1600. Always happy to hear what you have to say, even when you slap me across the face. 27 degrees all across the board. 27 at the airport, 27 at home studios, 27 at the Robinson Auto Group studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Mostly cloudy during the day today. Not much warmer. 32 are high today. A little bit warmer tomorrow, 42, but some rain showers come in tomorrow, and they could turn into some light snow showers tomorrow afternoon. We're going to get into a very cold week once we get past tomorrow. Temps only in the 20s during the day and single-digit temperatures during the night. 9/11 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Biff, have you been following this story on ABC News about the airlines all upset about the introduction of 5G cellular service?
I read something about it last night real quick, but that was pretty much it.
ABC's making it, I think, their lead story all morning long here on our ABC Radio News. The chief executive of major U.S. airlines warned of an impending catastrophic, that's a quote, aviation crisis in less than 36 hours when AT&T and Verizon are set to deploy the new 5G service. Airlines say the new 5G service set to begin on Wednesday could render a significant number of wide-body aircraft unusable. Now, here's my question. They just discovered this now? I mean, we began doing stories about the introduction of 5G here on this show 2-3 years ago. We had people from Verizon on to talk about their preparation for 5G. It's been coming on down the line. If you have Verizon or AT&T service, they've been selling you the 5G phones and promoting the beginning of their 5G service. And now, 3 days before the 5G service goes into effect, the airlines tell us that 5G service is going to make airlines drop out of the sky? I mean, where's the forethought on this? Unless our major hubs are cleared to fly, the vast majority of the traveling and shipping public will essentially be grounded, wrote the chief executives of American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, and others in a letter first reported by Reuters magazine. Not magazine, but Reuters news service. The FAA has warned potential interference could affect sensitive airplane instruments such as altimeter and significantly hamper low visibility operations. I am a huge fan of the old West Wing TV show. I loved West Wing. It was in their very first episode, season 1, episode 1, the pilot episode of The West Wing, that the character Toby Ziegler was in an airplane, and they were telling him to turn off his phone, and I thought he made a pretty good argument here.
Turn off all electronic devices, stow your tray table, and return your seat backs to the full and upright position. We will be landing shortly at Washington Dulles Airport.
Sir, I need you to turn off your computer.
I'm just about done.
I need you to turn off your laptop, sir. It interferes with our navigational systems.
You know, when you guys say that, it sounds pretty ridiculous to most people, right?
Sir?
Mr. Ziegler, a message was just patched up to the cockpit for you. I'm not sure I've got it right. POTUS in a bicycle accident?
You got it right.
You can't use your phone until we land, sir.
We're flying in a Lockheed Eagle Series L-1011. Came off the line 20 months ago. Carries a SIM-5 transponder tracking system. Are you telling me I can still flummox this thing with something I bought at Radio Shack?
You can call when we land, sir.
Also, I never got my peanuts.
I mean, I remember that, you know, and Toby says, come on, you're giving me, I bought this thing at Radio Shack. It's a little bit, and you're going to tell me this could ground the airplanes? Well, now, that was, 20 years ago. Now, here we are finding it apparently is true. The 5G service is going to ground airlines. The FAA says that on a day like yesterday, more than 1,100 flights and 100,000 passengers would be subjected to cancellations, diversions, or delays. Many thoughts go through my mind, one of which is, seriously, I'm with Toby. You're telling me that a cell phone can literally ground the airplane? Is it going to drop out of the sky? I have a hard time believing that. But Biff, the hardest time I have believing is, didn't you see this coming before 3 days before they switched to 5G service? Where were these warnings 2 years ago or a year ago? Where was the conversation? If this is true, where was the conversation with the cell phone carriers going, yeah, you know, you can't do this or planes are going to drop out of the sky? I don't know. Something just seems weird to me about this. But ABC considers it to be a big story. They're making it the number one story of the day today, and I don't know what the government could do, or I don't know what the cell phone carriers are going to do. I don't know if they're going to cancel flights or whatever. It'll be a story to watch throughout the day today. But seriously, if you wait till 36 hours before this, quote, catastrophic event occurs, somebody wasn't doing their planning ahead of time. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about that. Before I get to Dave Palmer, we were talking to Brad McElhaney last hour about some of the things pending in the legislature. A couple of things I didn't get to with Brad, just real quick, just to get him on the record here. The West Virginia House has a bill proposed to require a moment of silence at the beginning of each school day in all public schools. Now, I want to begin by saying I don't have a problem with this as long as it's implemented as a moment of silence. I fear that it's a path to beginning to have prayer in school again, and I firmly am opposed to that. But a moment of silence, I'm okay with that. But is this really a big deal? Is that something the legislature needs to be putting, as Brad and I talked about, there really isn't, they're not getting a whole lot done right now. Aren't there other things more important for them to talk about? The bill says the legislature finds that youth and society as a whole would be well served if students in public schools were allowed a moment of silence at the beginning of the school day. Now, again, I have no problem with the moment of silence. I also don't think it makes diddly squat to kids that you're going to give them a moment of silence. Principals of each public school require all grades to set aside a moment of silence, one, but no more than 2 minutes every day. Each classroom teacher should encourage parents or guardians to discuss the moment of silence with their children and make suggestions as to the best use of the time. That's what gets me a little bit nervous. Now I think we're starting to say, well, why don't you suggest your kids pray? Hey, prayer happens in school all the time. God knows, Biff, I'm sure you did. I prayed a lot when I was in school. Please, God, don't let my mother find out what I did. Right? Or, please, God, just let me get through this day without getting in trouble. I mean, kids pray all the time, but I have no problem with it. Do we really need to put that up there? And another bill that apparently is pending in the legislature, and I love the way he phrased this, Sean O'Leary, who is with the Washington Center on Budget and Policy. Yes, that Sean O'Leary. We have two Sean O'Learys we haven't talked to. This is the one from the Center on Budget and Policy. He said, I forgot. They've introduced the bill. You're going to use coal whether you want to or not, and you're going to love it, Bill. That's what he called it. There is a bill introduced that says power plants cannot use any less coal than they used in 2019. So let's dictate what a private business feels is best. Let's dictate what they have to use regardless of what they feel is best. Goes back to the point that Brad was making last hour. There are efforts being made to take away the power of cities to set standards at the state level, and cities couldn't go any lower than that, in particular in the issue of discrimination. And as Brad pointed out, it used to be the Republicans were the party of the government closest to you is best, but now they're different. And it used to be Republicans were the party of let capitalism work its way out, businesses know what's best. But apparently we have a bill that says no matter what the capitalists think, you're going to have to use a certain amount of coal. See what you used in 2019 and use the same amount. All right, I just wanted to share that with you. I got these nasty emails I'll get coming up a little bit later on in the morning as well. But right now I want to talk to Dave Palmer, Wheeling Councilman from the 6th Ward here in Wheeling, who apparently isn't content with just being a city councilman. He wants to get bigger and bigger. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Howard.
You know, Dave, when some of us political observers got together privately over the last year or so, and you know how this stuff goes, and I'm not talking about on the air, we would just kick some things around at lunch, and we'd say, you know, Dave Palmer, I think Dave's pretty vocal, pretty active. I think he might be doing something in the future. Although a couple of folks said maybe county commissioner. I think most of us thought you might take a stab at mayor next time.
That topic has been broached, and that topic was totally closed down from the person that runs my campaign, being my wife.
She figures you spend enough time as a councilman, God help you, if you were the mayor. Is that it?
Well, I just think that, yeah, it's time consuming, and a lot of people don't understand how much time, just everybody wants the mayor to speak at every event. And, and I think Mayor Elliott does a great job of getting to as many events as he can humanly possibly get to. But that's a real struggle time-wise. And I just don't know that I was able to fulfill such a commitment if I would have been fortunate enough to be elected to such an office.
So county commission is another seat that I had heard bandied about you might be interested in. I was not totally surprised, but caught a bit unawares when you filed for that seat. That's a pretty time-consuming seat as well, though, Dave.
It is, but it also allows me to broaden the horizons. And to me, I'm no way, shape, or form being critical of current or past county commissions, but High County is more than the Highlands. We have a lot more areas that we need to focus on, and I just don't feel like we're stretching out broad enough, and we're not including, our smaller villages and towns, and we're not including our county seat of Wheeling in a lot of things that goes on, and I think there could be more inclusion for everybody, and I think everybody could benefit by that.
The last two new commissioners, Zach Abraham and Don Nickerson, both brought this issue up during their campaigns as well, that there needs to be more than just focus on the Highlands. And I asked them, which I'll ask you, tell me what else I know you sort of said other cities and so on, or other municipalities or other township, whatever. I mean, what do you think needs to be paid attention to that's not paid attention to now above and beyond the Highlands in Ohio County?
Well, it really troubles me that we have people developing areas. We talk about housing all the time, but we have people building, beautiful $500,000 to $1 million homes and they don't have availability of sewage. They're still using septic systems in 2022. And I think that we need to, and you know, Howard, I've always harped on infrastructure, that, you know, we need to improve the infrastructure throughout the county. And when there are developments that are built outside the county, you know, you still have things like rainwater. The people that do have sewage have rainwater that are coming into the city and flooding areas into the city, trying to get to our water pollution control plant for treatment. So we need to do better jobs with infrastructure, starting outside the county, you know, starting at your furthest point and working back towards your plant. So, you know, those are some of the issues, or one of the issues right there. I know Zach's big on this, is, you know, we've got an airport up there that's very underutilized. We need to attempt to, you know, broaden that airport and bring something else in there. I was part of the committee for the airport celebration on September 11th, and, you know, what a wonderful facility we have that we're not utilizing enough. And I don't feel, and this is just me on the outside looking in, and I could find out that I'm wrong, but I don't feel like we're taking, you know, what's Clearview bringing to us, what's Valley Grove bringing to us, Triadelphia, West Liberty, Bethlehem. What can we do with them, along with the city of Wheeling, to make the county better? And I just feel like I got to have, you know, I have to make this attempt to at least try. My whole career has been on public service, and I want to continue it, and I'm just trying to spread the umbrella out a little bit bigger, while not forgetting, you know, the people in the city of Wheeling, especially the citizens of Ward 6.
I want to go back to the airport for a minute, because I would agree with you that anytime there's an event at the airport, and I don't think there are enough of them, to be honest with you, but whenever I'm up there for big events, and I bring people with me, and the little one as well, they get very excited about that airport. It's a great facility, and when it's used, it really, and I don't mean it's not used regularly, but when there's an event there of some kind, you really can see the potential for activity up there. And maybe it is underutilized. I know I took a couple of my grandkids up there several years ago. Nobody was there, but we just wandered through the building, and there's some really neat historical displays in there and so on. So I think the airport, as an airport, probably needs to get, I don't know, beefed up or whatever. Do you think that the airport needs to be more, the airport property needs to be more than just an airport, though?
Well, yeah, what can we do with the property? Let's see, what can we do? Let's explore ideas on what we can do with the airport. You know, I know Dave Palmer can't do this, but what if, you know, we could form a group that could draw somebody from, you know, the Pittsburgh International Airport area, one of the big, you know, I don't think we're going to get Delta or U.S. Air or anything like that, but what if we brought a FedEx or a UPS in here? What would that do? I mean, let's at least explore those ideas. And, you know, we've got a lot of great people in Ohio County, and a lot of great business people with a lot of great business minds that could help with situations like that. And I'd like to see those people at the table trying.
Dave, you are currently city councilman, have been, this is your second term. You've got a pretty good feel for the city operations and for the 6th Ward in particular. There is, at least on paper or in people's minds, a little more willingness for the city and the county to cooperate now than there have been in the past. I guess my two questions are, do you feel there has not been cooperation in the past? Do you feel there's been animosity there? And then, do you feel it's changing or not?
I definitely feel that there was some form of animosity, and I'd like to see that. I'm not looking to blame anybody or who's to blame, but I do feel that it was there. I do think we can do better going forward. I think that with the new commissioners, there has been an attempt to start that. You know, we did it with our first workshop. But I think there can be a better lines of communication, not only with the city of Wheeling, but with all the smaller municipalities located within Ohio County.
I talked to a lot of folks who were at the the gathering between city and county to talk about maybe future cooperation. And most of the folks I talked to said, I heard good things. It sounds like there's an openness, there's a willingness to dialogue. But I also heard the same people say to me, I'm not really sure what that means. I'm not really sure what kind of cooperation there could be. You know, the city is the city and the county is the county. And what sort of, so I'm asking you, what sort of cooperation, what sort of coordination do you envision between the city and the county?
Well, okay, let's use an example of, let's just say that the city has a piece of property that a outside party is interested in developing. But, you know, a lot of times when that happens, in these days, they come to the city with an ask first before they want to do something. So, you know, can we obtain this property, or can you demo a property, or, you know, can you provide utilities to the property, those type of things. And, you know, I think there's already been one step of cooperation that, you know, if we have a major project coming forward, that we will work together. And so let's just say that we're short in funds. The county could commit funding to the city for the entire project, making it a Wheeling, Ohio County project. So, you know, if something like that were to come forward, I think there's already been that commitment to happen. So, you know, those are some of the things we can do to work together. And again, we can work together on infrastructure projects. You know, we just don't need to fix the problem as it starts in the city. We need to fix the problem infrastructure-wise that may start in the county and end in the city. So we can jointly work together on those types of projects.
Dave, the city council recently annexed a small part of Marshall County into the city. Is annexation something that you think makes sense for the further annexation? I don't know where or what. I have nothing specific in mind. I'm asking just as a general comment. Is annexation something that needs to be further pursued by the city and the county?
If it makes fiscal sense for all parties involved. I mean, there were some good questions that came about with the annexation of Danfield Drive. And, you know, what's the benefits of annexing these 11 homes for the city? We know what the benefits for the residents are. They're going to now be provided with professional fire departments. You know, they're going to have police that are closer to the area to answer their calls. You know, they're going to be provided with snow removal and cinders and salt that they weren't getting before. But does it make financial sense for the city? And in this case, it does, because, you know, we annexed 11 homes with an average property value of somewhere around $250,000 to $300,000 each. And the additional taxes they pay should more than cover for all the services that we're going to provide. So that's where we have to look at it. And I thought there was very good points brought up during this annexation of, does it make fiscal sense?
Dave, you've been very careful in this conversation we've had this morning to not be critical of the current commissioners, not be critical of Randy Wharton or the newer commissioners, you know, to simply say there are some things that need to be done differently, but you haven't been critical. The reality is you'll end up running against someone. You filed for the Republican nomination. Assuming you are the nominee, you'll probably be running against Randy Wharton. You're going to have to at some point say somebody's done something wrong or hasn't done things right. I mean, otherwise, why make a change? I mean, at least that's always been my argument. Why make a change if things are going well? So you have to at some point say things aren't going as well as they could, right?
Well, I'd like to think that, you know, 24 years is a long time to be a county commissioner, and I think it can get stagnant after a while. And I think if you can bring in, you know, fresh eyes to the table, fresh ears to the table, that it can only enhance what's being done in the county. So, you know, and like, you're right. I have a great deal of respect for these guys. I have a great deal of respect for anyone that serves in public office. I know the beatings that we take. So I don't want to be critical. I just would like to say that I would like to have the opportunity to sit at the table, to share my ideas, and to bring, what Dave Palmer can bring to the table, as opposed to the last 24 years that are greatly appreciated of Mr. Wharton.
Let's talk about your background, Dave. Most people do know, but let's talk about it. Longtime employee of the City of Wheeling Fire Department, Police Department, Fire Department, Fire Inspector, period of time with the United Way. Now you drive bus, that you're retired. As you point out, really a career in public service the whole time.
Yeah, and one of the things that's kind of driven me to the county commission seat, and some people say it sounds corny, but this is from my heart. In 1981, in October of 1981, I had just turned 20 years of age, and 3 Ohio County commissioners took a chance on a young 20-year-old to hire me as a deputy sheriff. And that's really where my career started in public service. And I learned so much as a young 20-year-old that I think it just set me down my career path. And I'm so grateful for those 3 gentlemen, David Desperio, John Tomanek, and Sam Anthony, for doing that for me. And I just want to hopefully, someday maybe sit in their seat and be able to do that for someone else.
Dave, let me ask you to take your candidate hat off just for a second. Put your council hat on just for a minute before I let you go. What do you anticipate coming out of the joint meeting that council has with the Planning Commission here in the next couple of weeks?
I'm excited to hear all sides, Howard. Too many times we don't get everything on the table. So I'm really hopeful, and I'm going to have my listening hat on, because I have, a lot of people have asked me, what do you think about these? What do you think about this? What do you think? I don't know until I hear from everybody. Once I hear from, what the council side is, what the commission side is, and then we go back at the commission level and discuss it and have the public hearing to hear what the public has, then you can make a better decision. I really hate to come out hell-bent against something, because I have changed my mind before. I mean, I've thought initially, no, I don't like it. And then I realized, that's not a bad idea. And on the other side, I've had ideas that I thought were good, and then afterwards, after I listened to other people, I'm like, oh, that's a bad idea. So, and I always say it's okay to have a bad idea. You just have to admit that you had a bad idea and you move on. But I'm really looking forward to just the listening and learning, and I'm looking forward a lot to hearing what you have to say about what took place back in 2001. That's what I'm really looking forward to hearing the most, believe it or not.
Well, I'm one of the few people who's been around, who is still active and has been around during this whole process, including the 97 comprehensive plan, the 2001 rewrite, and so on. So I think there's been some, I won't say misinformation, but I think some folks have not quite gotten the full picture of how this whole thing came to be. And so I do want to talk about that. I also want to say, very, very much like you just said there, and obviously the audience knows I have a vested interest as a member of the Planning Commission, not just as a talk show host here, but I am, and it's no secret, I've talked about it on the air, I am strongly opposed to the idea of these accessory dwelling units. Having said that, having had some private meetings with the Vice Mayor, having the Vice Mayor at the Planning Commission the last meeting, I sense that there is some willingness to look at modifications and look at different ways of doing this, and I've thought a lot about it, and I'm not ready to change my mind, but I'm ready to look at options for changing. So I think this idea of getting together and really hopefully having honest dialogue may give everybody a good perspective, and there may be a way to move this forward. Again, I have, as you know, Dave, I have very strong feelings on it, and the audience does too. But I'm thinking that there are some ways to maybe make everybody at least a little bit happy. I don't know if that's possible or not, but maybe there is. So.
At the end of the day, you got to look what's best. What do we feel we're going to come out as the best interest to the residents of the city of Wheeling? So that, I mean, that's what I try to weigh. What's in the best interest? It's not what Howard wants or what Dave wants. or anybody else. It's really what the people there that we're representing, want, and that can be a pretty good tipping of the scale sometimes, so to speak. It could go up and down a lot. So and that's why I want let us try to hash this out, get to where okay, this is what we're proposing, and then bring the public in it. Too many times, somebody will focus on one thing that has been said. And a perfect example, and I've told Councilman Seiler this many times, when he was proposing the rental inspection program, his first program came out with a $25 fee, I believe it was. And that was all people had talked about. And even though after the first meeting he said, we're not going to do the $25 fee, that's all people heard was the $25 to $25. So, I tried to explain to him, the reason I wanted to remove this from the table and bring it back to the drawing board at a later date is that there's no $25 fee in a new one, or if he brings something else forward, better to leave that fee out there, that people will focus on one thing. Everybody still thinks we paid $534,000 for the 19th Street property because that's the first thing they heard.
And then you're tearing it down.
Yeah, and we didn't pay that for it, and it is being torn down. So, and it will.
Dave, I appreciate your time this morning. I have to move on. Always good to talk to you. I really think you work hard for the city, and we shall see how things go with the county. It should be an interesting election. You will be, and I think it's interesting. John McCabe and I were talking about this last week. Very quick. John asked me on the air. He said, "Howard, did you know that Dave was a Republican?" And the answer is no. And I think it's a good thing because as a councilman, you really have not played any political role. You look at issues on a case-by-case basis and say, is this good or is this bad, without any real sense of the public knowing what your political background is, because it's not important when you're a councilman. And I thought that was an interesting approach that McCabe had brought up. He said, I didn't know where he was, politically.
Well,
and I think it's a good thing.
In fairness, Howard, I was a Democrat for a number of years, and I did switch parties. So in fairness to everybody, and full transparency and disclosure, I ran in 2014 for the House of Delegates as a Democrat. So, yes, I have changed parties, and yes, there's personal reasons behind it.
All right, sir. I appreciate your time. We will be talking again a lot, I'm sure, as we always do. I appreciate you being here today, and I'm glad you set your alarm for AM, not PM this time.
And my apologies for the mix-up on yesterday. That was all on me.
I do that all the time. I'm somewhere at 10 o'clock at night. My alarm's going off. I'm going, what am I supposed to be doing now? Oh, no, I was supposed to be somewhere at 10 o'clock this morning. So I completely understand.
When it came up and said Howard, I went, oh, boy.
Good talking to you, Dave. We'll do it again. Thanks a lot, my friend.
All right, thanks, Howard. Bye-bye.
Wheeling Councilman and candidate for the Republican nomination for the Ohio County Commission, Dave Palmer. Talked to Randy Wharton for a while last night, and Randy is going to be with us here the next, this week, next week, sometime soon, to talk about the things that the county has done. Randy feels that maybe there's a little misconception they're not doing enough outside the Highlands, and so Randy will be with us in the near future to talk about that. He and I had some good conversation last night privately as well. 18 till the hour on the Watchdog Morning Show. What's Big 7 working on? We'll check in with Bob Westfall in a minute or two, but first let's see what Metro News has got for us right now with their news update.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Carrie Hudasek. Governor Tim Justice says he continues to ask himself.
game at Morgantown. Baylor has had a tough time shooting the basketball as the Bears were at 41% in a loss last week to Texas Tech. Saturday, Baylor was held to 54 points on 31% shooting against Oklahoma State. Mountaineer guard Sean McNeil knows Baylor has been ranked number 1 for 5 consecutive weeks until today.
Baylor's a really good team. They're really talented, extremely well coached. And it's surprising that they lost 2 at home. We know that they're going to come in here really looking for a win, and we just got to be that more prepared. We got to be extremely focused, go over the game plan and figure out what we need to do to make it 3 straight losses.
Mountaineers are hoping guard Taz Sherman returns to form. Sherman averaging just under 19 points per game, but over his last 5, he's averaging just 13 points and shooting less than 34% from the field. He's had a recent bout with COVID and isn't quite back to 100% yet. WVU freshman offensive tackle Wyatt Milam was named to the Football Writers Association Freshman All-America team. And Marshall running back Rasheen Ali was named a Freshman All-America by the Football Writers Association as well. Ali rushed for 1,400 yards, 23 touchdowns. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. NFL Monday night, Rams beat Arizona 34-11. Matt Stafford threw for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. He ran for another score in his first career playoff start. So next week, it'll be Cincinnati at Tennessee, Saturday at 4:30. San Francisco at Green Bay, Saturday at 8:15. Sunday at 3 o'clock, the Rams play at Tampa Bay. Sunday at 6:30, Buffalo at Kansas City. From the Metro News Sports Desk, I'm Kyle Wiggs.
On the West Talk Line on Metro News, Chris Lawrence kept us up to date on Winter Storm Izzy.
The storm took a weird track. Yep. Instead of going up the mountains as we're normally accustomed to, or scooting over and going up the eastern slope of the mountains and hitting the D.C. area like it so often does, this one took a left track, and really the further west you got, the colder it was and the more snow that fell.
Keep up on what's happening in West Virginia. Talk Line weekdays at 10:06 on this Metro News radio station.
The new year is here, and so are the new Toyotas. So visit your dealer and reserve yours today. Like the all-new Tundra, redesigned from the ground up and engineered for uncompromising power. Or explore the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Visit your Toyota dealer today or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, offers end January 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Sick of waiting for your furniture to arrive? Menards has the furniture you need in stock. Plus, you get a free rug. That's right. Buy any upholstered living room furniture at $2.99 or more and get a free 5x7 area rug. That's $149.99 in savings. Need a new chair? How about a sectional, a new recliner, or love seat? Buy one today, get a free rug. Hurry up. Get to Menards before they're gone. In-store only while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. 2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy all types of real estate completely as is. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
Sick of waiting for your furniture to arrive? Menards has the furniture you need in stock. Plus, you get a free rug. That's right. Buy any upholstered living room furniture at $2.99 or more and get a free 5x7 area rug. That's $149.99 in savings. Need a new chair? How about a sectional, a new recliner, or love seat? Buy one today, get a free rug. Hurry up, get to Menards before they're gone. In-store only while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
Liberals in Washington, D.C. are getting desperate. They want to eliminate the Senate filibuster rule to pass a federal takeover of West Virginia's elections. This Washington power grab would overrule common sense laws that safeguard West Virginia's elections. Our Senator Joe Manchin has promised to defend the Senate filibuster.
I will not vote to do that. I will not vote to end the filibuster.
And Manchin stood up to pressure from the D.C. liberals like New York Senator Chuck Schumer.
I do not support getting rid of the filibuster, and Chuck Schumer knows that.
Manchin specifically said he opposes any filibuster carve-out to pass the liberals' election takeover bill. If they can weaken the filibuster, Speaker Pelosi and Senator Schumer could jam through their socialist agenda. We need Joe Manchin to keep standing strong for West Virginia. Call Senator Manchin, 304-342-5855. Tell him to keep his promise. Protect the Senate filibuster. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
You can listen to The Watchdog on your Amazon personal assistant. Just say, Alexa, play WKKX from TuneIn, or play WVLY from TuneIn.
Watch out! He could climb on his soapbox at any time. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Me and some of you are not happy with me today. I got a bunch of nasty texts here. This one comes out, actually this just popped up, but I think it's from a couple of days ago when the governor got COVID. Wow, the governor caught a cold. You got out of bed to report it and now won't stop talking about it. Nobody cares. I mean, literally, nobody cares. Well, I don't know. When the governor of your state says he is extremely unwell and after the fact says he wasn't sure if he was going to live, I'm kind of thinking that's a fairly important thing. But okay, nobody cares. I mean, nobody. Another text. Howard, get back in the studio. Do your show like you were hired to do. You go everywhere in this town, but don't go to your job. Say what you want, but you're so much better when you're out of your house. Well, my wife says that too. I'm better when I'm out of my house. Mr. Monroe. Always trouble there, Biff.
Yep.
Mr. Monroe, sincere question. Do you ever actually listen to your own comments? Trump is in your head. Trump is not president. You and progressive liberals are harming our country. Okay, boy, we have some people came out of the wrong side of bed today. You may text me anytime, 304-214-1600. Let's go over to Bob Westfall from the Big 7, WTRF-TV. You going to yell at me too, Bob?
What's that? I didn't hear you.
Are you going to yell at me too, like these texters did to me today?
No, I'm pretty sure I signed one of those, though.
Okay. Should have checked to make sure that wasn't from you. All right. That's fine. Did you make it into work this morning?
No, I'm actually waiting for some people to come up to the house right now to help me dig the car out because after they plowed the street, they plowed my car in as well. So, and obviously, the situation I'm in, I cannot get out to dig it out. So, the fine people with Wells Township Police, Sean Norman especially, he's got some people that are working on the haunted house, and they're going to come up and give me a hand. So I appreciate that.
That's good. We've had a lot of people complaining about being, plowed in, but, crews they got to do something. Snow has to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's not where we wish it would go,
Right. Yeah, the roads, they got to the road. That's what matters. And then the car is secondary, so we'll get it figured out. So that's kind of.
What else are you working on today, or what are you working on today?
We're going to take a look at some of the secondary roads have not been touched as of yet, obviously. The colder temperatures is going to keep salt from melting. So we're going to follow up on that, see where some of these road crews, how things are going. So we'll have that today. Actually sat down, Steve Moore sat down with J.D. Vance, who's running for the United States Senate in Ohio. And of course he wrote the book, Hillbilly Elegy. So I've kind of obviously wasn't there for the interview. Kind of interested to see what he had to say. He has kind of been a lightning rod for some different comments over the years and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of curious how this interview went. So we'll have that tonight at 6, and then we'll have the full thing tonight at 11. So I'm really excited about that interview.
He's somewhat controversial, so I'll be curious to see how that interview went. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so we'll have that. We're also going to run up and talk to students from Franciscan University. They're prepping to leave for the March for Life in Washington, D.C. These young students go every year. So we're going to find out what their thoughts and things like that are. So we'll have that this evening, probably looking at my board. We'll probably have something at 6, then probably definitely more at 11. So that should be interesting. So we'll have that. Of course, we'll be attending Wheeling Council this evening. So that's something we'll have tonight at 10 and 11. Big donation, Wheeling Casino, Wheeling Island Hotel Racetrack Casino is donating some money to the Salvation Army. DK will be there, so we'll have that update as well. So that's
kind of a little variety of things there, and weather-wise, it's going to be a cold week. Once we get past today and tomorrow, a cold week is coming up too. So
Harrington, Jackson tonight. A little bit of possibility of rain tomorrow, so that should be interesting with all the snow on the ground. So we'll be following that. A nice story last night, and I know another school in Bethel Park made the news, but Coach Doc, Wheeling Park, tweeted out last night that conditioning had been canceled for high school football for the high school football team, but their homework, if you will, was to go out and shovel the neighbors, elderly neighbors, people that couldn't do it themselves, and not to accept money for it, go out and do something like that. So I like that. So we're gonna try and track somebody down, see if we can talk about that as well today. I thought that was really nice.
I saw that tweet. That was a great idea. I mean, just that, that's a great idea. Hey, you can't. We're not going to have. We're not going to get together and work, but you go out and do something for somebody in a nice way. I love that. I love that concept. Yeah, that's great.
So that was a nice tweet. So those kind of things we're working on. Sports is kind of quiet right now. NFL playoffs at least for the Steelers are over. Big wrestling tournament here is over. I don't know, Biff. I don't know what else is going on out there sports-wise, but I'm sure Scott and Chip will have something on, at least at WVU and Ohio State men's and women's basketball. So that's out there as well. A little bit of everything today.
All right, and that's what we look to TV7 for, a little bit of everything. Check it out at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30, the statewide show with Mark and the gang, and then, of course, always on the award-winning WTRF.com, and most importantly, carry them in your pocket, WTRF's news app and Storm Tracker 7 on your phone or your tablet. Makes it really easy to get news as quickly as it happens. Set up those push notifications, and the news comes right to you. Can't get any easier than that, Bob.
No, it's as easy as it gets. I can't imagine it anything easier unless you I was going to say, kidnap someone and keep them in. But that's
Probably we'll just leave that alone.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you again on Thursday. I got to run. Thanks a lot. Good talking to you today, as always. And Biff, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock at the Go Around the Big Gig. Are you back with me?
I am here for a Wednesday.
We'll keep on doing it until we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
Foreign extremists.
Extremists?
All right, Biffy. Other than the fact that I was off schedule all morning, it was not a bad show. Yeah, sometimes I get too many guests and I don't have enough time to do the breaks, and I try and always squeeze something else in besides the guests, and I just irritate myself sometimes. But the good news is I irritate other people as well, apparently. So there is that. All right, everything working okay? All right, that sounds good. Did Lola get in at all yesterday? I didn't pay attention to whether we. Yeah. Okay. All right. I appreciate your help. Tomorrow we've got Bob Ney at 8:15. And maybe Stephen or somebody. I continue to try and do the legislature, but I'm not sure about that. But I've got Bob at 8:15 tomorrow, so that's our primary thing. Yeah, he always brings some good stuff. All right, if you need me, you know where I am. I'll be around. I guess Teddy's still got the sniffles, and they're not letting him come down until he has a COVID test, and nobody's doing COVID tests today, so I don't think he has COVID, but they get concerned about me. You know, oh, we don't want you to get COVID. I'm not going to get it. Don't worry about me. But I'd rather play. But anyway, I'll be here all day. If you need me for anything, give me a call. Otherwise, as always, I'll talk to you in the morning. And as always, I really appreciate your help. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
With new 5G wireless technology set to be turned on tomorrow, airlines are still worried about the launch. ABC News consultant Steve Ganyard is a retired Marine pilot.
The concern is that there might be interference between the 5G frequencies and those used by the radio altimeters on the airplanes.
Those sensors can be critical to a pilot when trying to land in bad weather. The CEOs of 11 airlines have sent a letter to the FAA and the Secretary of Transportation asking for a delay in the rollout near airports until more testing can be done. New regulations in Texas could mean higher oil prices. ABC's Jim Ryan says it's in an effort to ward off earthquakes.
The Permian Basin of West Texas is home to vast reserves of oil and natural gas, and lately there's been a whole lot of shaking going on.
What we've seen in the Permian Basin is a rise not just in the frequency of earthquakes, but also the intensity of earthquakes.
Jason Gennaro heads a company that recycles wastewater produced in massive amounts in drilling operations. Texas regulators have closed down some of the reinjection wells blamed for recent earthquakes out of concern that they could get more severe. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
A reward could be announced as soon as today as police in Los Angeles hunt for the person who killed a UCLA grad student. She was stabbed to death last week as she was working in a furniture store. And a big asteroid will be making a close call past the Earth today, at least cosmically speaking.